Hey guys, Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland, just outside of Seattle, Washington, right here in Kirkland, Washington, taking a look at a car that might be as important a launch as any car in the history of the entire Infiniti brand. It's a 2014 Infiniti Q50 hybrid. And let's not confuse this hybrid with other hybrids, like say a Toyota Prius or the like. Hybrids typically have meant the more thrifty version of a formerly gas-powered car. This hybrid is completely different, much along the lines of Infiniti's Formula One cars through their partnership with Renault, which is also, their Formula One cars are a hybrid. Ferrari, for example, has a new car out called the LaFerrari, and that car also is a hybrid. The hybrid is used to augment the gas engine and create sensational power. This Q50 is much the same. It has 360 horsepower and a combined 472 pound-feet of torque. Now, that is combined torque, so just if you're not familiar with this new world of hybrids, the battery and the gas engine do not work all together simultaneously. Although they do work in sync, you're not going to get full maximum power out of each one at the same time. So the torque numbers, although a little bit misleading, are actually going to be closer to about 400 combined foot-pounds of torque at full throttle at low speeds, but still 360 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque in a car this size. It's blistering fast. This car just absolutely sizzles out on the open road. And that's coming from a company that makes pretty much nothing but sports cars. The G-Series lineup, which was the precursor to the Q-Series lineup, well, every one of those cars was fast and visceral and probably best in class in every category. And that's competing against the big boys, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Audi, what have you. Infiniti's always had the edge on high performance. This car takes that edge much, much further. This is technology gone in a very, very dramatic new direction, a quantum leap ahead for Infiniti and probably for the car business at large. This is going to be one of the most popular small, sporty luxury cars available on the market because it is so much out there further than what everybody else has going on. I'm going to give you an example of a technology that you're going to find exclusive to this Q50 right now. When you're in electronic cruise control, a lot of these cars nowadays have a kind of a laser-guided cruise control or some kind of sonar type of cruise control that if the car is in front of you and it hits on the brakes before you're ready, well, these new generations of cars will hit on the brakes before you're even ready to know that the car is stopping in front of you. Infiniti has taken that a step farther. Instead of worrying so much about the car in front of you, this car sees out at least 2 cars ahead of you. So if somebody in front of you is texting and they don't realize that the car in front of them has slammed on the brakes, this car's already hitting the brakes before the car in front of you even knows what's going on. This is technology nobody else has. So above and beyond the fact that it's a blazingly fast car, I mean, it's a wonderful car to drive, it's got technology that just simply is not available in the otherwise out there in the market in any price range. This car has active braking and several different variations of active braking so that if it notices that we're going to get an accident, there's just nothing that can be done about it, it's going to give near maximum brake response in that last millisecond before you crash, just to take out as much of that energy as it possibly can. However, in tandem with that laser-guided, and now it's sonar-guided cruise control, it can hit the brakes long before any kind of bad situation happens and come to a complete stop, even out on the open highway, even if you're going at great speeds, to avoid an accident altogether. And so in this new world of, not only does it have lane departure and lane control features, but it's gotten so far ahead of itself that this car actually can be driven on windy roads with no hands on the steering wheel, and I do not mean that facetiously. It reads all of the bumps on the road, and it's telling the car exactly where the middle of the road is, and it's keeping you firmly in the middle of the road so that if you take your hands off of the steering wheel, and I'm here to tell you, please don't be the person who takes your hand off the steering wheel and loses control of your car. You'll be in the one patch of road where there's no bumps on the road or something like that and go skidding out of control. However, the technology is such that on a typical road, in any state in the United States or in most countries around the world, because it's reading all of those dots on just about any road in any circumstance, it just keeps the car flat. Through a really brisk, speedy turn, it will actually make the turn. It's unbelievable technology, and it's definitely first in class with the new Infiniti Q50 hybrid. Now this is a gas engine, it's 3.5 liters, as opposed to 3.7 liters. The former 3.7 liter engine, which you'll see in the standard Q50, puts out 328 horsepower. This one again puts out a combined 360 horsepower. It's very, very low end horsepower, and so the 0 to 60 times, about 5 seconds. They're quite quick for given the size of the car, but it's those 0 to 30 times that are just like, wow, I can't believe how fast this car is off of the line. Very, very exciting. Let's come take a look around. This car has 360-degree around view cameras, and so if I put the car in reverse, I don't just see what's behind me, I see all the way around a 360-degree arc around the car entirely. So if I'm in the garage and I didn't realize something had fallen from the wall and is underneath my front right wheel, I would never notice that with a traditional rear view camera. But with these new bird's eye view 360-degree cameras, you see absolutely everything. And then of course it makes three-point parking or sidewalk parking completely brainless. Now in all Q50s except the hybrid, you have fold down rear seats. The hybrid battery pack is actually right here, so it's not in the front engine compartment at all. That extra little bit of weight also enhances the balance. It's almost exactly 50-50 weight distribution as soon as you sit inside the car. So from a balance perspective, it's a great idea having the battery pack back here, but it does compromise your trunk space a little bit. It's a nice spacious trunk, but it's not a big trunk by any stretch. In the other Q50s, if you go, darn it, I just need that extra space, remember, not only is this area larger, but the seats themselves fold down. In the hybrid, they don't. Come on, let's take a look inside. As we're walking around too, there's some different suspension bits unique to 2014 that Infiniti has not had before. The suspension in the back was always kind of laid out at an angle to fit the space, and so it made for a little bit of a bumpy ride. And sometimes you'll hear on the G37 and formerly the G35, it's like, darn it, they're cool and they're fast, but they're just a little bit bumpy out on the open road. This has a much more compact suspension setup, which is kind of a typical coilover arrangement with a straight up suspension component with a coilover spring around it. And that compact size doesn't take up much space, so that's nice, but it makes the road feel a million times better than the former G series car. This car is flat out, in every single way, a better driving car than the car that it replaces. Now if I look inside here, I'll notice that there are two distinctly different navigation screens. One of the navigation screens is just for your typical navigation. I want to know where I'm going, I want to know where I'm at, I use the navigation. It works just like every other navigation you've ever seen. Nice thing about it being a Japanese car, Japanese cars tend to be really, really simple to use, especially compared to some of their German counterparts. Nothing has changed here. This is as nice and easy navigation unit as you'll ever use in your entire life. The second navigation unit is this big unit right here, and that's your lifestyle navigation unit. This has everything that you need from Infiniti connection, information provided by Facebook, by Pandora Radio, and you've heard a lot of these cars have gone to these new, more upscale combinations of electronic goodies that make your personal experience with the car that much more thorough. The distinctive advantage to Infiniti as a brand is that Infiniti connection. How Infiniti Connection works is that it's based out of Texas, and it's a 24-hour concierge service that is unique to our brand. You can call them 24 hours a day as much as you like and ask them any question in the whole wide world, and they will get an answer for you. You could be driving down the road and just want the answer to a trivia question, they'll get it for you right then and there. And then they'll ask you, when you call, it's amazing. When you call, they know it's you, and so they address you by name. Oh, hi, Mr. Tunney, what may I get for you today? And then I'll ask them, hey, you know, I'm driving around in Seattle, and my wife and I want to get some sushi, but we don't know a popular sushi restaurant. Great, we'll get the highest rated sushi restaurant in Seattle right now. Would you like me to text that to you, email it to you? You want to wait on the phone? Should I call you back? Whatever's most convenient for you. Okay, well, since I'm just talking on the Bluetooth, I'll wait. Great, well, we've got a restaurant that's available. It's just within a mile or so of where you're at right now. Would you like us to go ahead and get reservations for you? I can literally tell them, not only do I want reservations, but there's a drink that my wife and I like when we go get sushi. I'd like that waiting for me on the table when I arrive at that restaurant. And you think that's a silly joke and that's not going to happen? Let me tell you, that drink will be waiting on that table when I get there in 10 minutes. It's the real deal. As soon as Infiniti Connect, your personal assistant, gets off the phone, they're immediately calling the restaurant, they're making the arrangements, they're giving the information that you want to give. It could be tickets at the ball game that I want waiting at the will call area. It could be tickets to the theater that I want waiting at the will call area. I can give them my credit card and keep it on file and have my mom receive flowers on her birthday every single year in the color yellow. Whatever can be accomplished on the internet in the modern world, they will do for you for free. And you can utilize it right here from this screen. And so not only is this car fast, not only does it have very, very futuristic technology, but it has lifestyle technology that is absolutely class dominating. Not just class leading, class dominating. This is stuff that nobody else has. This car is brand new on the market. It might be the single hottest car for sale in the United States. I do not mean that facetiously. This car is one of a kind. If you'd like to come in and take it for a drive, if you'd like to pre-order, obviously they're going to be sold out, and we're going to be taking orders on the Q50 Hybrid. If you want to learn about financing, leasing, any kind of situation that is unique to your situation, I'd like to address it for you even before you come down to the dealership. My name's Joe Tunney. I've been a sales manager here at Infiniti of Kirkland for almost 10 years now. Please don't hesitate to give me a call, 425-821-1600, with any questions that you might have, or just drop me an email anytime at joet@infinitiofkirkland.com.